So this is what happens when we form Everyday Paranormal. We show up to this place. Now we're in Texas. Everything from now on is Texas.
Come on, Texas. You got to clap for that. Come on. So when we formed our team, just like other teams, we had our buddies, we had our people that we worked with, we had relatives. And so we gathered this motley crew of investigators. And this Harlequin Dinner Theater is at what's called Fort Sam Houston Army Base, which is in San Antonio. It's very famous for if you ever heard of the Fort Sam Burn Center. A lot of the soldiers that are injured and burned really bad in the wars, they come to this air base there, this Army base, and that's where they get treated. It's a huge medical facility. Medics, doctors, they all go to this base to get trained. This Harlequin Dinner Theater, back in the World War I actually dates back to, was the NCO club. It's where you went to hang out, drink, be with your friends, watch some shows, watch some movies, things like shoot billiards, things like that. It had a history of being haunted by different things. I forget how we got access to this place. I think we knew somebody that knew somebody, right? And they let us in.
Yeah, who opened the door for us when the other person didn't know we were coming. That's how we got in. But, I just formed the team. Barry and I, Steve Harris, a couple other guys, Hector Cisneros, the guy you saw in Ghost Lab, and then a whole cast of characters because I was just like, hey, the more the merrier, everyone come on, which in a little bit we're going to show you why that's kind of a big mistake, but that's a funny story. But first investigation, we gather outside the doors, we go in, and as luck would have it, everything blew up. It was like Christmas paranormally. And we're going to show you a few things that happened here.
Before we went in, though, me and Steve Harris were out there, and we were like, man, you believe this crap? Is this real? And we're still very skeptical about it, while we're here. And we had some members on our team that were nothing against psychics or anything like that, but it was all new to us, and they were doing this protective bubble.
Homina.
I'm like, what the hell are we doing?
They kept talking about the protective bubble and all this kind of stuff.
What is that?
And my first reaction is, well, if you're investigating ghosts and you want to see and hear ghosts, why do you want to keep it from happening? I don't know. It's counterproductive to me. But they were there, the more the merrier, and first piece of evidence we got was this. Now, this is one of those homina psychics that I was talking about. The weird thing that I've never seen before, now I've seen streaks and I've seen orbs and I've seen all that kind of stuff. I've never seen something that looks like an electric bolt, okay? It struck me. But when I looked a little bit closer, if you look underneath the bolt back behind her shoulder, there's a shadow person standing in the wings behind her. That wasn't there because I was the one that took the picture. And I was one of the ones that take the picture and look at it. Take a picture and look at it. And I took another, and that person wasn't there. So first experience with a shadow person. I was like, well, this is awesome. The next one was up in a dressing room. Now, this over here, that's Steve Harris. He's in the mirror. See up here? He's taking the picture. But that's not what struck us. There's another mirror in there that we looked, and we looked, and we looked down here in this mirror. There's a little girl standing in the mirror. And what struck us about this is that if there was a reflection in the mirror that close, something would have to be almost nose to nose with it on the other side to make the reflection. And I'll zoom in on a little bit. You can see a dress, you can see hair, you can see a head. More than pareidolia is when you look at something and it makes the shapes. This was a mirror, and something had to have been in front of it to make the shape. It didn't. There wasn't anything there. So that struck us as odd. The next thing, this is what got him hooked.
Yeah, so this next piece of evidence, remember I was a camera guy. I own the camera. We're in this back dressing room, and it's Brad sitting there, and I'm at the camera. It's completely dark. I can only see through the viewfinder. And we're sitting there, and I'm kind of just listening to Brad talk. And the reason why I'm focusing on him is someone said they thought they saw this walkie-talkie move that was kind of on there. So I'm kind of focusing on this walkie-talkie. And then this happens.
Battery full on. Use flashlight, got some kind of shadow right there by the chair. that you?
That was not me.
That's what I'm talking about.
That was not me.
That was my camera. That was my
Brad
Look,
flew out of
look
that
at
chair like he was
That
100
was not me,
pounds.
dude.
He's like,
I
I'm out of here.
That was not me.
My flashlight's on the floor. I got chills.
You gave me the giggles.
I got it on camera, Brad. I got it on camera, dude.
I got it on camera.
Now that's
dude.
the excitement that we have, and that's the excitement.
Thank you. I'm going to sit back down here.
Yeah, we all right here.
Yes.
And that's the excitement that we have, and that's the excitement that we wanted every time we went somewhere, because it brings that energy. It makes it fun. You know, we're hunting ghosts, and these things happen. A chair moves. My God, a chair moves by itself. How often does it happen, and how often does it happen on camera? Now it did, and we have the evidence.
Like I said, my first time ever investigating was that night. And that's what we catch. And like Brad said, man, this is too, what else? I mean, that's the creme de la creme. That's what you're looking for as a ghost hunter. And it happens literally within like an hour of us being there.
Now let me make this distinction here. Everywhere we went, we didn't get stuff. There was stuff in between where we didn't. But this is like the highlight reel. This is like the ESPN highlight reel. We're going to show you all the good stuff. They're probably thinking, my God, these guys get something everywhere they go. This is the good stuff. So we get bigger, we get better. There's a place in San Antonio called the Joe and Harry Freeman Coliseum. This was built in 1948, convention center where they had concerts. Elvis played here at one point in time, but when he was young. They have the rodeo there every year, the San Antonio Stock Show and Rodeo. Concerts, I think a lot of San Antonio's first concerts were at this building, but very, very active, very, very old. And it's owned by the county. They are having a lot of problems in the building. They got wind of us because we had a website, word of mouth, people were talking, and they said, hey guys, can you come out and check this stuff out? We said, why the hell not?
Well, some of the other history also go back, you heard of Teddy Roosevelt's Rough Riders, right? The Rough Rider Teddy Roosevelt, he trained them. He actually trained them here on these grounds at this Coliseum. Also, during World War II, they housed Nazi POWs in this building. There's some horse stables in those buildings in the back are all horse barns, but prior to that, that's where they had Nazi POWs, and they had made shoes for the American soldiers. So how degrading is that? They're
Make my shoes, bitch. You can say that about Nazis, I'm sorry. And that's just a shot of the inside, kind of what it looks like. Just a typical arena. But one thing that we went to when we were kids was, and a lot of people, they don't really do it now, but circuses. You know how the typical Klinge Brothers and Barnum and Bailey circus. And we went there a lot as kids. And at circuses, there's elephants and lions and cotton candy and clowns. Who loves a clown? I mean, everyone loves a clown, right? Well, there was a documented case of, during one of the shows, we weren't there, but during one of the shows, a clown had a heart attack during the performance, fell on his face, and died right there. One of the claims that the workers say is they see a clown running through the hallways, and they hear a clown. We're thinking, if I see a clown, you talk about shatting. That's what's going to happen. But it's like anything else. What are the odds that we're going to get a clown? So we're doing an EVP session up in the balcony.
See up where it says 120, way up high, way up there. We had the audio recorders going.
And I was getting a little cocky, and I was kind of provoking the clown, poking the bear, and this is what we get.
Come on, all these years, all these stories of, the Freeman Coliseum's haunted by all these spirits. Well, guess what? We're here to take pictures and record, videotape, and you ain't doing nothing.
One more time.
Come on, all these years, all these stories of, the Freeman Coliseum's haunted by all these spirits. Well, guess what? We're here to take pictures and record, videotape, and you ain't doing nothing.
Anybody hear a clown laugh?
The evil clown laugh?
Yeah, we didn't. Obviously, I just kept going. Now, if we heard the clown laugh when we were there, it would have been a different story. But that's, you're putting, and a lot of times we did that, and we're going to show a couple other things where there's these stories, and you're not really sure about them, but you end up getting something that matches people's claims. And it just goes to show you that people aren't trying to necessarily pull your leg. These are maintenance workers. These are people that work there who don't want to go to work. They don't want to make a living or a wage at their job because they're too scared because of the stuff that happens to them at night. And you have to believe that. You have to believe those people. And to find something like this, man, that's golden.
And that's not just it. I mean, we caught pictures and we caught other EVPs. We're going to play a couple more for you. But this place was ripe with activity. And all in one night. We were just there one time ever. In our whole careers, one time investigating. So we're in this hallway. So you see the Coliseum. It's a round Coliseum. And they have this hallway that goes around the complete part of the Coliseum, all the way around. And we're in this hallway, and we have recorders running. We catch another EVP. But at the same time, we'll show you two pieces of evidence here. We caught a picture as well. So we're always about correlating evidence. Catch a picture, get an EVP. We got an EVP, we got an EMS spike, things like that. So this right here shows of our correlating evidence of this piece of evidence. We don't know who it is, but whoever they are pretty ominous looking.
If you're here, give us a sign. If you're here, give us a sign.
Now, keep in mind what I said in the beginning where it's like, what was it that we were missing in these paranormal investigations? It was the science. Okay, now we're talking about not just hearing a ghost, seeing a ghost. We're talking about a ghost or something that's not there that we can't see is commenting on us as if we're the ghosts. And we started to come up with, we started theorizing, and a lot of stuff that you saw in Ghost Lab, all these different theories, ARIQs, and all this stuff, was derived from these early investigations where we get this piece of evidence and we'd analyze the crap out of it and just figure out what was occurring here. And you're talking about multi-universe, multi-dimension, string theory, the stuff that really we do talks on that, and it just blows my mind. I don't even know how we're even smart enough to talk about stuff like that. But this kind of stuff happens, and we've had several instances.
Have y'all
like
seen
this.
the movie The Others? Nicole Kidman?
Nicole Kidman, one of your own.
Yeah, one of yours, Australia. So she, at the end of the movie, spoiler alert, she's the ghost, okay? And she's seeing people that they think she's the ghost, she thinks they're the ghost. That's when we come up with what we call it the others theory, where they're commenting on us. It's almost like their times run alongside with our time, and we see them and they see us at particular times.
But there was one other thing that happened at the same time in the same hallway because we were snapping pictures. So as we go, a lot of times if I'm walking out, I'll turn the camera around, I'll snap a picture behind me, I'll snap a picture behind me. You know, I won't sit there and say cheese. I just snap pictures all over the place. At that same time, we got this photo. We're all here taking photos this way. What the hell is that? What does it remind you of? It reminds me of that's incredible damn shadow figure that was standing in the hallway. Well, I know,
Don't say
clown.
that. The clown.
Yeah.
Actually, we don't have it with us tonight, but there's a picture of Teddy Roosevelt, and he's standing like that. He's got
riding pants
on. He's holding his hand like that. Same position as that picture. We actually do a side-by-side analysis on some of our other lectures, but I'm not saying that's him, but that's a pretty good picture. And we actually, before and after, that hallway is completely clear. I mean, it's not a focus. You can see all the way down the hallway, and this is the middle picture right here. He does have a shadow. He is casting a shadow.
Well, it's a shadow, or is it? It doesn't match him.
Or he's manifesting from the ground. Another thing we thought about. Yeah, he is casting either a shadow or that's kind of part of him. But it's kind of weird when you start getting down into matter and material. Is he a solid form? Is he a shadow? How is he casting that shadow? So a lot of science theories are going on here.
And we'll take the opportunity to say this. One of the things we've always said when we're investigating is we're not out to prove a believer right or a skeptic wrong. We know what we got. We're presenting the evidence. We're theorizing about it, and we'll let you make your own opinion. And that's the way paranormal investigation should be. And that, we theorized about it. We had the EVP. We correlated evidence. To us, pretty cool. You mentioned the shadow. I kind of made the reference. It looks like a genie in a bottle. It kind of looks like like a genie coming out of a bottle or something. That's not as scary as a clown, though. All right.